Did Iran really test a nuclear device near its nuclear facilities in Natanz on October 6, 2024? There have been several news items suggesting that Iran conducted such a test after an earthquake was detected near one of Iran's nuclear facilities. Al Jazeera journalist Jamal Rayan was among one of the first to post on X, saying he confirms the nuclear test on October 6th, followed by a barrage of speculation of such claims on social media and news outlets. Does any of the speculation hold any water, and if true, what does it mean for the Iran-Israel conflict and for the region? Welcome to News Blitzer. According to the European Mediterranean Seismological Center, on the evening of October 5, 2024, an earthquake measuring 4.6 on the Richter scale was detected 44 kilometers from near Semnan, Iran, at a depth of 10 kilometers. The place where the earthquake was detected is close to Iran's nuclear facility, Natanz. The tremors of the earthquake were felt 110 kilometers away in Tehran. Soon after, a second but weaker tremor was also reported as far away as Israel. While the earthquake was the trigger for claims about Iran having conducted a nuclear test, that was not the only reason for the claims. There are other reasons as well. Firstly, it is the timing of the earthquake, the area of the epicenter of the earthquake, and the context of escalating tensions between Iran and Israel in which it occurred. Iran launched around 180 ballistic missiles into Israel on October 1st, followed by Israel saying that it will unleash an attack on Iran that would be very painful. The two Iranian rocket, drone, and missile attacks on Israel, largely billed as ineffective, clearly indicated that Iran has no conventional deterrence to prevent Israel from a retaliatory strike in Iran. It would therefore not be surprising if Iran has considered a nuclear bomb as a deterrence against Israel. Secondly, the claims of a nuclear test were given some legitimacy by researchers. As reported by DD Geopolitics, following the detection of seismic activity by the Armenian seismic station, which was also recorded in several countries, researchers said it lacked a seismic compression wave, making the event more of an explosion rather than an earthquake. Similarly, in January, the Institute for Science and International Security had said that if the regime's leadership decided to build nuclear weapons, it would only take a matter of weeks to have enough fissile material. If that was true, between January 8th and today, close to 35 weeks have elapsed, giving Iran enough time to produce some kind of a nuclear bomb, even if rudimentary. Soon after the October 1st missile attack by Iran on Israel, the Heritage Foundation, a Washington-based think tank citing International Atomic Energy Authority, too reported Iran was close to reaching the 90% uranium enrichment that is required to manufacture a nuclear bomb. Iran can produce nuclear weapons far more rapidly than expected, it said. Likewise, Iranian lawmaker Javad Karimi Godusi had on April 23, 2024, in a post of X, said there is only a 1-week gap from the issuance of the order to the first test of a nuclear bomb, whereas it was 5 days after Israel's threat to retaliate to the failed Iranian strike on October 1st that the alleged test is claimed to have taken place. Others, including former diplomats too, asserted that it was a nuclear test. This is what Alistair Crook, a former British diplomat, said.
It was first of all said to be an earthquake, but if you look at the seismic graphs, it looks not much like, I'm not the experts, but the experts, the engineers who look at it, say it looks more like a nuclear test than an earthquake.
To top it all, since several months, Iranian officials have been saying that Tehran has accumulated most of the knowledge needed to build a weapon, and that it might reconsider Ayatollah Khamenei's 20-year-old fatwa to not produce or procure weapons of mass destruction. The fatwa, of course, has been taken with a heavy pinch of salt by the global leaders and analysts. As a result, considering all these reports, statements, and assertions, there is reasonable cause for people to suspect that there was a nuclear test, especially in light of the escalating tensions between Iran and Israel and Iran's lack of an effective deterrence against Israel. But inversely, the fact also is that for several reasons, it could not have been a nuclear test but just an earthquake. Firstly, the earthquake reportedly took place at a depth of 10 kilometers under the ground. If the earthquake was caused by a nuclear explosion at that depth, it would be the first time in nuclear history that a nuclear test has been conducted at that depth for reasons beyond rationality. On June 18, 1995, a 2.5 kiloton nuclear device was detonated at the bottom of a shaft 2.85 kilometers deep, south of Nefteyogamsk in Siberia, Russia. That was the deepest shaft in which a nuclear weapon has been tested so far. Secondly, the tremors felt in various places after the earthquake, including as far away as Israel and other neighboring regions, including Armenia, raise more doubts. Tremors that are normally felt after an earthquake is reportedly not felt in nuclear explosions. This has been observed in the nuclear tests of India, Pakistan, and in Korea, say experts. Finally, the spectrographs of the earthquake does not suggest the occurrence of a nuclear test. In the snapshot, it can be seen that the graph of a nuclear test denoted in red as compared to that of a normal earthquake denoted in blue are very different. In a nuclear test, the graph records a preliminary surge in seismic waves which then taper off consistently, whereas in an earthquake, the spectrograph keeps alternating between reducing rise and fall of seismic waves denoting tremors. Hence, if a nuclear test has indeed been conducted in Iran, it would have been recorded in multiple seismic stations operated by the US, UK, France, as well as international monitoring bodies. No confirmation about the earthquake being caused by a nuclear device has so far been confirmed by any global nuclear watchdogs or the UN. Underground nuclear tests have long been banned by the UN. At the same time, while Iran has neither denied nor confirmed the claims, Euronews, quoting Iranian Noor news website, which is a front of the Islamic Republic's National Security Council, reports that the IRGC dismissed the nuclear speculation as rumors, asserting that nuclear tests contradicts Iran's nuclear doctrine. Though the statement cannot be taken at face value as Iran's nuclear program is a covert one, it requires attention. None of these details, however, take away the fact that just as Iran has been pursuing a covert nuclear weapons program, it has indeed been developing underground nuclear testing sites. In 2019, the Foundation for Defense of Democracies, a Washington-based think tank, in a report said that Iran had begun a program to build underground nuclear testing sites, known as the Field Project. According to the report, the Foundation's researchers identified the likely location in an area southeast of Semnan, where underground non-nuclear explosives tests were conducted in 2003. The earthquake occurred in the same region. Therefore, as of now, claims about the said nuclear test are largely conjecture based on several circumstantial factors. Other than news media outlets and social media, no one worth their salt has confirmed the occurrence of a nuclear test by Iran. But what if Iran actually did conduct a nuclear test? What is its impact on the Iran conflict and the geopolitical balance in the region? The fact is, even if Iran has tested a nuclear device, it is quite another thing to weaponize the device. As reported on October 2nd by New York Times reports after Iran's ballistic missile attack on Israel, it takes advanced metallurgy and engineering to make a nuclear weapon. An electronic firing system would be needed to make explosives, which can compress a nuclear core and start a chain reaction that emits nuclear energy. The warhead then must be tested time and again to ensure it can bear extremely high levels of heat, the newspaper added. These factors, rather than benefiting the Iranian regime in the present conflict with Israel, the nuclear test works against it. This is because, besides the severe additional international sanctions that will ensue if Iran has violated the ban on underground testing of nuclear weapons, if Israel is convinced that such a test has indeed occurred or is on the threshold of being conducted, it raises the chances of Israel targeting Iran's nuclear sites to very high levels. On the other hand, Iran could also use nuclear warheads to create a dirty bomb, which does not require a vehicle to launch it. But as said earlier, all of this is largely in the realm of speculation as far as the general public is concerned, though concerned governments may already know the full truth. Some of the monitoring agencies, too, may offer more insight in the coming days. A proper analysis takes time as it entails taking air samples, deep analysis of seismic data and satellite images, which the CIA is reportedly already doing. But what we do know for certain is that for quite some while Iran has been close to or has already achieved 90% uranium enrichment required to produce a bomb. This means if not now in the future, Iran would almost certainly produce a nuclear weapon. In an interview with The Guardian on October 4th, former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak said a strike on Iranian nuclear facilities might not be much of a setback as its program was too far advanced. Iran is a de facto threshold country. They do not have a weapon yet, but it may take them a year to have one, and even half a decade to have a small arsenal. Former Israeli PM Ehud Barak told The Guardian in the October 4th interview. Consequently, the only aspect we can be certain of is that Iran will eventually produce a nuclear weapon, and when that happens, it will lead to a nuclear race in the region, with Saudi and Turkey following suit. Saudi king-in-waiting Mohammed bin Salman has already said that if Iran gets a nuclear weapon, Saudi would immediately start work on developing its own nuclear weapons. What we are looking at is an eventual nuclear race in the volatile Middle East. That is the main takeaway from all of this. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, kindly do subscribe to this channel. Like and share the video to encourage us to bring more cutting-edge news analysis and reports for you. Thank you once again.